on. That is weird behavior, and I don't think you call it anything else.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at viral videos where Minnesota Governor Tim Walz brought the political energy and dad energy.
Welcome the next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz.
Number 10. Missing an important call from Kamala Harris. When the vice president is on the other line, you answer the call, assuming you recognize the caller ID.
Hey everybody, Tim Walz here. Well, not a normal week, which is a good thing. Started out missing a call from the vice president.
In one of his many relatable video messages, Tim Walz confesses that when Kamala Harris initially called, asking him to be her running mate on the Democratic ticket, he missed it. Once they got in contact, Walz didn't hesitate to accept. The next thing Walz knew, he was on a plane to Philadelphia and speaking in front of a teleprompter for the first time.
And they told me that in an hour I'd be giving a speech and there'd be a teleprompter, something I had never used in my life, so I'm certainly terrified.
This casual video sets a tone for Walz's candidacy. He's a politician, but he's also a regular guy who understands everyday struggles like mistaking an unknown number for spam. While it's been a whirlwind so far, Walz still comes off as down to earth.
We're just getting this thing started, but it is off and running.
Number 9. A conversation with Kamala. The Harris-Walz campaign has presented the candidates as people you can have a casual conversation with.
I talk about it being halftime in America. We're a touchdown down, and I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
About a week after Walz was announced as Harris's running mate, the two sat down for a chat at Aretha's Jazz Cafe in Detroit. They kicked things off discussing, quote, white guy tacos before addressing the infamous missed call. Given the setting, the running mates naturally landed on the subject of music.
So, Tim,
Yeah.
what's your relationship to music?
Yeah. For me, the transformational piece of music was Bruce Springsteen's The River.
Bruce Springsteen and Bob Seger shaped Walz, while Aretha Franklin and Prince hold a special place in Harris's heart. As lighthearted as the conversation starts, the two eventually get into serious territory regarding Social Security, division, and what led to their career paths.
Did you always know you wanted to be an attorney?
My parents met when they were active in the civil rights movement. I grew up around a bunch of people that were, marching and shouting for justice.
Some called this, quote, scripted and fake. For others, it was as real as politicians get. Number 8. Getting water for a crowd member. Politicians always say they'll look out for you. If they noticed somebody in need, though, would they suddenly drop everything to help?
Freedom. Oh, can we get somebody to help? Somebody's hot. Somebody's hot. Can we get somebody to help?
We can't speak for some other politicians, but based on this video, Tim Walz would. At a rally in Wisconsin, Walz put his speech on hold when he saw the heat getting to an attendee. He called out for somebody to bring the supporter water, encouraging everyone in the crowd to drink up.
Drink some water, folks. It is hot out.
Walz waited until the audience member was attended to. He tied this back into his policies, discussing the importance of helping your neighbors. While his empathy was on full display, it was Walz who applauded the other crowd members for assisting.
Yay. Thank you all.
He then asked if anyone else needed water. Number 7. Air filters and snack foods. The same year he became governor of Minnesota, Walz spoke with Twin Cities PBS anchor David Gillette to tackle the subjects that matter and the ones that don't.
Thanks for having me, David.
Thank you for being here, sir. Should we just dig in?
Absolutely.
The Q&A session reached a wider audience 5 years later after Walz entered the race for the White House. The question that arguably made the video go viral concerns the last thing Walz did in public without any help from staffers.
I went to Menards and bought an air filter for my furnace.
He gave the most Midwestern dad answer imaginable, mentioning the air filter he got from Menards for his furnace. Walz also provided his stance on several pressing matters, namely whether he preferred muffins or donuts. He's a muffin man, and he will not hesitate to go for the top.
Do you cut the muffin in half, or do you take the dang muffin?
Muffin top.
Just the top? I didn't anticipate that answer.
Number 6. Handsfree Law. Tim Walz is gaining a reputation as America's dad, although he only has 2 biological children. In several videos, Walz is accompanied by his daughter Hope.
Hi, Minnesota. Governor Walz here, along with
Hope.
This is where his dad energy is at its peak. In 2019, Walz signed the Handsfree bill to help decrease road accidents. To commemorate this, the father and daughter shot a PSA of sorts, explaining what the new law entails.
And Minnesotans, we're here making sure millennials are putting down the phone and
I think it's actually adults, Dad. Like older people like you.
cut.
Of course, the playful video quickly escalates into a debate about who's more prone to driving while on the phone, teenagers or the older crowd. After several takes, they do get to the issue at hand. Whereas most driving PSAs aim to shock us, this one is refreshingly humorous while still getting its message across.
It's not worth it, Minnesota. Put the phone down. It's the law of the land. More importantly, it's going to keep Minnesotans safe.
Number 5. His response to stolen valor accusations. Although he never saw active combat, Walz served in the military for over 20 years. Likewise, J.D. Vance was a U.S. Marine, serving a non-combative role. Despite these similarities, Vance and several other Republicans called Walz's military record into question.
Walz did say on camera that I carried a gun in a war. Well, which war did you carry a gun in? Because you apparently never went to a war zone. That is a totally reasonable question to ask, and I think the evidence at this point is overwhelming that he lied about serving in a combat zone.
The most damning accusation is that Walz retired in 2005 to dodge deployment during the Iraq War. In reality, Walz turned in his retirement papers months before his unit received official notice that they'd be sent to Iraq.
And I just want to say, I'm proud to serve my country, and I always will be.
During an impassioned speech at a union convention, Walz proclaimed how proud he was of his service. Walz might not agree with Vance's policies. As Walz saluted every American who has worn a uniform, though, he didn't leave his political opponent out.
And I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record. To anyone brave enough to put on that uniform for our great country, including my opponent, I just have a few simple words. Thank you for your service and sacrifice.
Number 4. At the Minnesota State Fair. The Walz family is no stranger to the Minnesota State Fair, although this trip threw Tim for a loop.
Hey, Minnesota, Governor Walz here, out at the State Fair with my daughter.
Hope.
Every year, we as a family do something old and something new.
We mean that literally. Recording a video in 2023, the governor and his daughter talked about their annual traditions. The family patriarch would get to pick something old, while Hope got to pick something new. Following a conversation about whether turkey counts as meat in Minnesota, Hope took her dad on the slingshot.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Walz claims his daughter tricked him into doing the fair's most extreme ride, which thankfully came with a reaction cam. As is often the case with most people who go on the slingshot for the first time, Walz's expression is one of sheer terror and pure joy.
That was pretty cool, actually.
That is wild.
Number 3. Free school meals. Before getting involved in politics, Walz taught geography and coached football at Mankato West High School. Even after leaving to focus on Congress, education remained a top priority for Walz.
No longer are we starting to differentiate have and have not, those who had lunch, those who didn't, those who got something different than someone else. We're simply treating them with the respect and dignity that each child should have.
Nowhere is this more evident than in a video where Walz signed a bill guaranteeing Minnesota students free breakfast and lunch at school. During the ceremony, Walz was surrounded by school children. After one kid came in for a hug, the good cheer became uncontainable as several others joined. Much like a free meal, you can't put a price on this wholesome moment. In March 2024, the Minnesota Department of Education announced that the number of school meals had increased by 4.3 million breakfasts and 4.5 million lunches.
This is good news, but it also should be a wake-up call. We've got a lot of folks out there that may be food insecure, more so than we thought, that are right on that edge.
Number 2. Weird. A lot has been said about Donald Trump and his allies over the past several years.
These are weird people on the other side. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. That's what it comes down to. And don't, get sugarcoating this. These are weird ideas.
You wouldn't think Walz's assessment that Trump and J.D. Vance are, quote, weird would catch on, especially compared to some of the more colorful comments from late-night hosts. After Walz called them, quote, weird people in a July 2024 interview, though, it became Democrats' go-to description for everything MAGA.
Well, it's true. These guys are just weird. And it's, they're running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something.
It's probably an exaggeration to say Harris picked Walz solely based on this viral interview. Walz's newfound social media popularity certainly didn't hurt, however. Although weird is arguably one of the more polite insults directed at Trump, he still considers it a, quote, personal attack.
She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called JD and I weird.
Sometimes the simplest words possess the most power. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Honey the kitty. The Walz family gets a new pet in this Animal Humane Society video.
But we wanted to make sure that Honey got a good home, and I think as everyone who's listening to this probably knows, they rescue you as much as you rescue them, so we're glad she's here.
Pro tip on fixing vehicle parts. Better service than AAA.
So for $7.99 at Napa Auto Parts here in the city, you can replace this. Just clip off the back, use some shrink wrap connectors on there, tape it back together, and put it back in.
8-track players. Darn kids and their modern music.
Trying to explain to them how this plays music is like explaining alchemy.
What a monster. Walz's sarcastic remark for being seen as progressive.
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions. And
his first TikTok featuring Scout the dog.
Everybody, Tim here with Scout at the dog park along the Mississippi, doing our first entry into TikTok, or as he and I say, Tim Talk. Right, Scout?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. His first speech as Harris's running mate. While Walz's weird comment widened his following, he was still relatively unknown to most Americans when Harris chose him as her running mate.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you put in me, but maybe more so, thank you for bringing back the joy.
For most people, his first speech at a rally with Harris would serve as an introduction. Adding to the pressure, the rally occurred in Pennsylvania, where Governor Josh Shapiro was also vying for the VP position. Walz immediately got on the crowd's good side, praising Shapiro.
And Pennsylvania, I know you know this, but my God, what a treasure you have in Josh Shapiro.
He went on to champion Harris before discussing his experiences as a soldier, educator, and politician. He didn't hold back when it came to the weird competition either, calling out Trump's legal record and policies. As for JD Vance, Walz just couldn't resist a couch joke.
That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, you see what I did there?
With this speech, a political star was born. What's your favorite Tim Walz moment? Let us know in the comments.
So you know what's out there, so say it with me. We aren't going back.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.